Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Should Have Recorded That with Phil and.
Adam, I just thought I would keep you in suspense there for a moment, Phil.
I figured you were intentionally holding out on me.
Did you? Oh shoot, I gave it away. I thought maybe you were living in fear that the internet connection had gone bad and that all of our efforts would go awry.
Yeah, I think like that's probably, on my spectrum of fear right now. It's probably at the low end of.
All right, that's fair. We are, still in one of the most tense periods in American history, global history, really. So
Yes, yes.
if my internet is lagging, it probably isn't causing you too much distress,
It's not. It's not.
relatively speaking.
Relative to what we got going on. But we're glad to be back with you all. I want to say thank you to everyone who's checking us out, who's listening and watching.
Yes.
Um, we want to remind you to listen. You can subscribe, comment, share, like, and follow. You can find us at WSRT WPA. That's our title.
I'm sorry.
Minus the
Every
I.
time it just it's so many random letters. It still tickles me to hear.
It's
You can follow us at this string of 43 letters.
43. You're
Okay.
exaggerating.
Wait,
I
no, I'm
want. I
counting out.
We
One,
got
two, three, four, five, six. It's only
seven.
7 letters. You're right.
Seven.
We
Yeah.
it's like memorizing a phone number.
Right. Four and then three. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasurpa. Wasurpa.
What? Oh, but don't forget the little w there
Oh
between
yeah.
Wasert and
Wasurpa.
pa.
Oh, how you say it?
Well, I'm just thinking phonetically here. I think it's going to
Okay.
be
Was
Wasert wapa.
Wasurpa. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
That just rolls off the tongue. How can
It
anyone
does.
forget that?
It does. Just remember there are W's at the beginning of each one of those clusters. But anyway,
Clusters of consonants, yes.
yes, you can find us at on Facebook using that, Instagram, and on YouTube you can search us using the title. We do
Have
have,
we actually said the real title of this podcast?
yeah, we should have
Oh,
recorded
that's
that.
right. Yeah, you did. That was the whole shtick I did at the beginning, where I waited forever before I said my
Yes,
name. Okay, never mind.
yes.
I'm done.
Okay, we have one listener comment that we want to mention before we get into our interview today. We This is from Micah, and they say just listen to episode 7 today. I love the podcast and look forward to the next episode. And they
Thank you,
commented,
Micah.
yeah,
Oh,
they commented on Jeanette's the clip I posted about with Jeanette sharing how musicians have this innate skill for leadership. So thank you. Really, keep commenting, and remember, you can also leave us voice comments. So
I will also add, my friend Julie texted me and said, "Guess what? I just listened to your podcast for the first time yesterday. I'm
uh-huh.
3 episodes in. Fun!" Two exclamation points. First of all, she is the kind of person who is so fastidious about her writing, even in text message form, that if
Uh-huh.
we are getting two exclamation points, I'm Julie, we're honored. And secondly, I think this is proof that we're good for binge listening because she listened to 3 episodes yesterday alone.
Wow, yeah, just couldn't stop.
I mean, it's easy to get addicted to your voice, Phil.
Oh wow, I don't know about that,
I
but
do.
I today though we want to. I really am enjoying like what we're doing and having our friends on. We've had Jeanette is your longtime friend. She was my
Mm-hmm.
friend. I met her, and today we're having another friend on, my longtime friend. You met her, I think during the wedding. I think maybe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we met during the wedding. Azia Wiggins is with us. Welcome, Asia.
Hey, Asia.
Hi, you guys. Good to be here. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Well, we're really excited. I am really excited about this conversation for reasons that will become obvious, I think, in just a few
Oh
moments.
wow.
Cool. So I want to before we talk more about Asia, I just want to tell you all a little bit about her. Asia is very proud of the place she's lived in, and so I want to start off with accentuating that. So she graduated from Terry High School in 2007. She also completed her bachelor's in forensic science with an emphasis in chemistry and biochemistry, with a minor in psychology from the University of Southern Mississippi, Hattiesburg. That's where I met Asia.
Asia,
She,
you are so smart.
she is very
Boy.
smart. She is very smart. She has a master's degree in biological sciences from Mississippi College, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so, so really glad though she did that. She has a little bit of bio. I won't read it all, but I'll try to hit some of the highlights. Um, during her during her undergrad years, Asia set her dreams on becoming a medical doctor, and she worked full time and she did multiple jobs. She also volunteered at the Shepherd Center, Red Cross, and Merit Health Wesley, in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. In 2014, she moved back to Jackson and worked full time at the University of Mississippi Medical Center as a physician scheduler in the psychiatric department for 3 years. And I know she has some stories she could probably share with us about that. Asia continued working full time as a direct care provider and completed her healthcare degree program and summer MCAT pre-course at the University of Mississippi Medical Center in 2019. After finishing the prep course, Asia saw an ad for an editorial assistant position at the Jackson Free Press and decided to spread her creative wings, learning new skills and mastering her neglected craft of writing.
Mm.
Now, as an executive assistant for the Mississippi Free Press, Asia uses her experiences as a perpetual student, intellectual, hard worker, creative, and relationship builder to unite Jacksonians and Mississippians through storytelling by shedding light on what's happening on the ground with everyday citizens. Asia is a proud advocate for her black community as well as all other marginalized cultural groups who need their voices to be heard, and will continue to work to forge needed relationships through activism and community engagement. Asia is passionate about maintaining her relationship with God, family, friends, and reading, writing, singing, dancing, and is a proud foodie and dog lover. Her dog's name is Chloe. So again, welcome Asia.
Hey, Asia!
Hi. It's so weird hearing your bio read. Like, gosh, I
Asia,
thought,
you're such an amazing person, though.
She
How did we
is.
get so lucky to know you?
oh, I don't know. I guess serendipity.
I mean, it
Thank you,
really,
serendipity.
yeah. Because I mean, I will tell you. So Asia, so the how me and Asia met. I was sitting at a cafeteria table
Yes.
at, at Southern Mississippi by myself. Because I mean, I don't know what was wrong with me. I mean, I guess I'm still kind of an introvert, extrovert, whatever, weird person. But I was sitting at a table by myself. I think I was eating fried chicken, or maybe Asia was eating fried chicken. I don't remember. But
There
she
was chicken.
comes, it sits with me. And I think the first conversation we had about the difference between dark and light meat. Like, she we that was our first conversation, and we've been friends ever since. That was in 2007, and so we're going on like 12 years of friendship, and I'm so thankful to have you as a friend and have you with us.
The part of the story I want you to tell is how I literally told Phil that day that we're friends now. Like we're gonna be
You did.
friends, and that's it. And he was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. And
That
that
I
was it.
mean, yeah, but
I
like
love
that
that.
it's yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. Like Asia came, she became my friend. Like she came
Mm.
to me
She
and friended
adopted
me.
you.
I
Yes,
did.
she,
I
she
did.
adopted me.
Yes.
He
No,
was like,
that's a
all right,
lesson
cool.
right there. That's a
Yeah.
lesson on friendship. Like,
Yep,
identify the person you want to be friends with and make it happen.
make it
And make it
happen,
happen.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, but that wasn't the first time I saw Philip though. So I think the first
That's
time
true.
we saw each other was at what they had like
The,
the preview week for the freshmen or whatever.
maybe
And I
so.
saw you like we kind of talked at one of those events or something. So when I saw him again in the cafeteria, I was
Mm.
like, we're gonna be friends.
And
So
we also knew each other from the gospel choir that we were participating in together. So there, I mean, there was some other connection, but that day though, that day we had like our first real conversation, um, and so
so,
today we've kind of brought you in for an article that you wrote. But before we get specifically into the article, I wanted to kind of, I know that you are a writer. You write poems. I know you were, and while we were at Southern Miss, you participated in a poetry club and were friends with some prolific poets. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is like what was your early inspirations for writing?
wow, man, I don't my earliest inspirations. I don't really know because I mean, even when I remember in uh I want to say kindergarten. We would, a lot of our classmates were just learning their colors and stuff like that. And I remember it being this big deal because I wrote like this full sentence about eating pizza in the cafeteria being my favorite thing or something like that.
Uh huh.
And it was like, you need to go show this. Like she made me walk around to the principal's office and like show everybody what I wrote and everything. And so I don't really know. I think maybe reading probably inspired me to write. Yeah, because I've been writing since I
Mm.
was 5, literally, even just sentences. But as far as I can remember, like really starting to write poetry, and uh, I was probably inspired a lot in high school by in middle school by my I think she was my 8th grade English teacher, Miss Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she had just really paid attention to my writing, and she would make me like recite my poetry out loud in class, and she really made me feel like I was before my time then. And then I was in high school, I had another English teacher, my AP English teacher, Miss Salvo, who I feel like really pushed me to the envelope of writing because she would make us all of our AP tests every Friday where she would give us a prompt and we had an hour to write. So there, you had an hour to write a draft and write, and that was a test. So we did that every week, and so she really, taught us how to just, come up with something good on the spot. And she would make us read the best ones, and I would be the one that would win and have to, read out loud what I wrote. And so yeah, I would say maybe just reading. I read a lot when I was little. I was reading books before I went to grade school, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's probably. I don't know exactly what books I was reading that small, but I know I read a lot. You know, so I would definitely say that's probably my biggest inspiration to really start writing. Was
Mm-hmm.
reading.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, look, so let's kind of like
Oh,
fast
this
forward
weird.
a little bit. Like you, I mean, like I said, like I just read in your bio, you finished your bachelor's degree, you finished your master's degree, and after
Mhm.
that, you decided to apply to work for this to work for. I think you both you work at the Jackson and the Mississippi. Are they the same thing or are they
Yeah.
different? They're the
Well,
same.
they are different. Well, I came in the door in September with Jackson Free Press as an editorial assistant part time.
Mm-hmm.
I was working like 20 hours a week, but then I got promoted to executive assistant at Jackson Free Press, and Mississippi Free Press is a nonprofit women led organization. So it's a complete different entity from Jackson Free Press. It is the co-founder is Donna Ladd, who also owns Jackson Free Press, but it's a completely separate entity. Um, so yeah, I work part time for Jackson Free Press and part time for Mississippi Free Press as the
Mm-hmm.
executive assistant.
So like, what was that? What was that thinking? To say I'm gonna apply for. What was behind your thinking to say I'm gonna apply for this job in
Man, at that point, Philip, I just remember telling my friend like and I'm not trying to um be arrogant anything like that, but I got to a conclusion myself like I am way too brilliant to be broke and struggling. Like I have got to figure out where I fit in. Of course there was some curse
yeah.
words in there that I'm not gonna say it on y'all podcast. Uh, I'm but I'm just saying, but at that point in September, like I was just so hungry for just trying, for just trying to allow my gifts to make room for me. So I really prayed a lot, and it's always been my prayer that God, you know, help me to, first of all, help me to see His will and to only desire His will. So but I've been doing this whole thing trying to get into med school. That was my big dream, become a psychiatrist, and I've been on this track for years, and I'm struggling financially, so I was knocking on every door. I was trying to be a adjunct professor in Texas. I feel that I did a whole, what they call it, your teaching thesis or whatever you have to write out, like how you're going to, your styles and teaching, all that. I did a rough draft for that. I felt I was filling out applications. Doing personal care and taking this summer program, and, really just getting out of grad school. I just felt so creatively starved, so I just ended up seeing the ad on my friend Joshua Quinn page on Facebook that the Jackson Press was hiring for editorial assistant. And I was like, man, if I could just, I really would, honestly, I wasn't expecting to get the job. I shared the post for other people to see. And when I shared it on my page, one of the ladies that actually, she's one of my grandmother's best friends, and she's the one that got me into the home health business. I was a personal care. Sorry, my dog is distracting me. She's making so much noise. I was a personal care assistant for her, which is one of the jobs I was working before I started with Jackson Free Press. And she got on my page and she was like, Asia, that job is yours. You need to apply because you need to write. And she tells me all the time, you need to write. Every time when I work for her, she's like, you need to write. You need to write. She's like, I see Toni Morrison in you. I see the possibilities in you. You need to do it. And I was like, it convicted me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply. I did it. I let her know when I did it. And when I applied, I just sent down an email and I just poured my heart out to her. I was like, I'm basically a scientist. I've been in this field for years. This is what I've been trying to do, but I'm a creative at heart. I've always been a singer. I've always been a writer. And I just want to see if I can, first of all, learn some things from you, just kind of sit in there, create a space, and just kind of let those wings, like I said, just kind of flip my wings again, see what it feels like to be creative and create something. I just felt so stopped up. And I told her that, and she loved it. She was like, just the fact that I came to her willing to learn. Like I even threw in there, like, I don't even care if I don't get applied for the position. Can I just come to the office and sit around you and have a conversation with you and just be in the atmosphere? And she was like, she couldn't say no to that. So here I am. Like, it's been crazy. I would have never imagined that I would be doing this type of work or work for Jackson Free Press. That never, ever crossed my mind. Or any thought of being a journalist or just the different fields in journalism and graphic design. Like, it's just opened so many doors of opportunity for me just being in this space. So it's been a tremendous blessing.
Well, yeah, I think, there are so many things that you're saying there. Like the whole idea of just taking what you have and, letting it make room for you, like you said. I mean, and just exploring that and digging into that and just seeing what comes. Like you can't, if you never ask, like you won't know if they say no or yes or no. And I think me and Adam, we're both musicians, and I think that's taking risk is a part of is a part of that, of just being a creative. You take risk.
Yeah. I love that you identified that yearning in your heart, Asia, to create something.
Yes.
And I love even more that after you identified it, you went for it.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing. Like, I was so terrified. And that's how I know that I knew it was the right thing to do. Because after I filled out the application, my palms were all sweaty. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was just weird. Like, it was just weird, to completely change trajectories. Like, I went from science to creative in a few weeks. And then I had just got to the point to where I had took that MCAT course, and I was killing it. Because that was really my issue with going to med school. I had to get over my fear of passing the MCAT. I took it 3 times already. I was never really mentally prepared for it. I really didn't expect to pass or think that I was smart enough to get into med school. And I broke that wall down. God showed me that I was intelligent enough to get in med school, and then He completely changed my path.
Yes, you can do anything. That's
So
right.
I'm just so grateful that he brought me to that point to show me that you can do this, but
Right.
you can do this too. I
That's
don't
Right.
right.
want you to. You've been stopping yourself, thinking that you're not enough, and he showed me that I was enough, and he completely changed my path. And so I'm grateful. It lets me know that if I want to go back, I have the confidence to go back. If I still want to get that degree or still go to med school, I know what it takes to get it, and I can do it.
Yes.
So God is good, man. We're not gonna get into how good he is. We'll be here all day.
Amen.
I got,
Yeah.
yeah, we. I mean, we can. I can get some music going. We can talk about that. Do some
Great.
preaching. Do some preaching on here.
Yes.
But yeah,
But I think that we should, Asia, talk about this incredible piece you wrote called "An Ode to Black Men." Um, when Phil shared it with me, I was so Asia, like before you even joined us, I was saying to Phil that like I'm gonna sit back in this episode and just soak it all in, because for those of us who are just listening to us, even they know that I am a boring white guy.
I doubt that.
wow,
Boring.
And
no, not boring.
so I this piece that you wrote, I just feel like you let me as an outsider into a little piece of your experience.
Mm,
Wow, man. Are you
Yes.
serious?
I'm very serious. Yes.
mm.
Oh, man, that made me cry, man.
So I'm curious. Phil and I are both musicians. Usually on this podcast, we're talking about musical topics. So why did you title it "An Ode to Black Men"?
Well, I would say, it's crazy. Like that was my, because how I wrote this piece, it's, I would have these just random thoughts of gratefulness towards Black men, and I would just have to get my recorder and just like say it. And the way I could differentiate, my little weird sayings on my recorder was say, what this is about, and then say my thought. And an ode to Black men was just the first thing that I thought of. And I guess with me being a musician, me being a songstress, a vocalist, like maybe, pouring out my heart would be a song. Even in poetry is song, and I feel like a lot of it is poetic. A lot of it is it's a lover song. It's a it's
Yeah.
a it's paying homage. It's this so I couldn't think, I thought that was the best word to kind of express what I was trying to express with the piece.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think I don't want to flatter you, Asia. I'm just being
But I
genuine.
can't, what I'm saying? My
Yeah,
head.
I know. We need your head to still fit through the door. But I'm just being honest. Like this world, and especially this country, and especially this country at this time, needs more recognition of people of color. It needs more appreciation. And so, like, thank you for writing this ode. I just want to say thank you. I want to acknowledge my own ignorance and express my own gratitude before we continue.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, man. Like just the love I received from this so far has been overwhelming for me. It's been a beautiful thing. It started some beautiful conversations with men in my life. So even if it doesn't, reach the masses or whatever, just to see that it sparked conversation in my immediate area and the people that I have relationships with has been, oh my God, it's just been such a vulnerable 2 weeks, y'all. Like, like I opened my heart to the world, and it's just been, y'all have been filling it up ever since, and I just can't be more grateful.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, let's get into it. You start this article. I'm going to read the first line. It says, "The very first man I ever loved is a black man." Like, and I know that man. He is a great man. Tell us about tell us about that. Tell us about that man.
My daddy, y'all. My daddy. Oh, I mean, he is for me the epitome, and when I say in this piece, my dad is a good shining example, because my dad has always been a balanced person. He's always been masculine and feminine. He's always been hard and soft. He's never, he's always encouraged communication with us. Like I really couldn't have been given a better influence, a better example of how a man should love a woman should be. I don't think I could have thought of that. And my daddy, he's that. Not some of that is perfect, but when it comes to loving and representing that love and living that love every day, he does that. And I can't think of anybody that's ever met him to say otherwise. Even if they don't like my daddy. He's just one of those people that you have to say. I mean, he's a good person. I mean, you might not like the way Tony does this, Tony does that, but you can't. I'm sure everybody he's met, he's given to in some capacity, and they remember him for his service in some way. Mm-hmm. And he's taught me the same. Mm.
Yeah, and you say that like this, if your dad, the love that you and your dad share, that is the root, then everything else in your life is the tree. I mean, and Adam texted me about the article, and he said, "Send me the poem," and because it is so poetic, I've been referring to it as a poem. But really? it is an art. Yes, it's Azia, you like the prose in it, like it's. I can hear it singing. I can hear it singing.
The use of language, it is very literary. So like pause, listener, if you have not already read this article, this piece that we're talking about, this essay, or this poem, whatever you want to call it. If you have not read it already, please go to the show notes and click on the link that we will include to it. You will not regret it.
Yes, and please tell me what you think. I mean, because, it's not so much about being accepted. It's about starting conversation. So, and also, like I said, I'm a novice. Like I am, I'm just now trying to get my feet wet in writing and, learn how to do it right. So I'm open to criticism, open to, how it makes you feel and what you think about it.
I mean, but Azia, I wouldn't call you a novice. I mean, you've been out of practice maybe, because you were going to school. But I mean, when I read this, and I should say that this particular article you didn't write for Jackson Free Press. You wrote for what is the I'm trying to remember.
Black No Chaser. Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Website.
Black with No Chaser is a platform that is put together by some Black brilliance in Jackson, in just the Mississippi area. I know the founder, C.J. Lawrence, Esquire, Tyson Jackson. I can't think of everybody, but I know C.J. Lawrence is the CEO. And it's basically just a platform that we control the narrative, that we can talk about, Black stories and Black experiences unapologetically. A lot of us, we do have degrees and we are educated, but it's also a space where we want to get ratchet and code switch. We have the freedom to do so.
Right.
Of course, nobody is, people. I mean, of course, it's open to all platforms, but it's really just so we can have our own platform to control our own narrative and not have to, where we have the freedom to edit and own our own content. And that's a big thing in the Black community or in the communities period, where a lot, everything is owned by, a conglomerate. You don't really have a lot of freedom to edit your content and really put out the content that you really want, that really comes from your heart unapologetically. So that's what this is about. And I'm just a freelance writer for them. Like it's, they give me opportunities to just put my voice out there, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I think as I was reading this article again, the idea of controlling the narrative was what kept coming back to my mind. Yeah, we want to make sure that you hear it from me. Don't just think of me through the mouth of someone else, but hear it from me. Yes. I think to that I want to come to Jackson, because like I said, you're very proud of your city, and I mean it's the capital of Mississippi, we should say, if you didn't know, and it is your hometown. What do you want to inspire in your city, in the people of your city, or what narrative do you want to share about your city?
Well, I'll answer that in two parts. I would say what I want to inspire in my city between men and women, specifically Black men and women, um, is just more honest conversation. Like it's just so much, and it's not just of course, in my community that's predominantly Black and the community that I am a part of course, we know the issues that are the racial issues that's happening, the systemic oppression, all that is happening against color, communities of color, but just men and women all together as a whole. Like there's so much misunderstanding between us, and
Mm.
we just need more honest conversations. And like I said, especially in the Black and brown community, because we have so many factors that have us so traumatized. And we're taking that trauma that has been brought on us collectively as man and Black woman, and then our own traumas that we have separately, and we're fighting each other with it. And
Mm.
it's just, and we have to expose it. We have to talk about it, and so for me, I want to put. I know there's so many negative things, like I talk about in my piece. I don't want to exclude that because it is something that has to be talked about, and it is really happening. Toxic masculinity, misogyny, all the things are really happening in the Black community, and we need to talk about it. But let's not disregard how we got here, and that's not just constantly pointing the finger at each other. It's not going to solve the issue. We're going to have to sit down and have conversation. We're going to have to learn how to love one another again properly. And so that's what I want to inspire us to do, to inspire us to love one another properly and use
Mm.
our words, to heal ourselves. As far as how I want to represent Jackson, and I think I said this. I wrote a piece. I mean, I read a love letter to Jackson as well that did
Mm. Okay.
for the Jackson Free Press. I'll share the link with y'all so y'all can read that as well if you like.
For sure.
But I said in that piece, that Jackson is the new mecca for communities like Jackson all over the world that's going to bring forth progression and hope and progress. Like I believe that Jackson is people. A lot of people eyes are on Jackson, and I don't think people realize there's a lot of things that's happening differently in Jackson, in Mississippi as a whole. And I believe that it's going to be the starting point. What I mean by starting point, I mean just that light on the hill. People, if Jackson can do it, and Mississippi can do it, then everybody can do it. And so, like I said, I'm one of my pieces. Before the people come, before the bandwagoners come, remember that Asia said that Jackson is on and popping. Jackson is mecca for progress in the United States, and that Jackson's going to produce not just brilliance, but Black brilliance for the world to see. So,
Tell us a little bit. I mean, for our listeners who, you know, whose idea of the South is not based in experience, it's based only in stereotypes and what they see on the news. What would you describe as Jackson's biggest strengths and its biggest obstacles to overcome?
whew, wow. Okay, let's go through this first.
Yeah, just like, a nothing question.
Man, biggest strengths. Oh, I would say. I would say Jackson's biggest strength would be its history. It's of course, creativity, just the creativity that's been born and the movements that's been born out of Jackson. Just the labor and the blood and the energy that's been put into Jackson. There's no place like it in the world. Even when it comes down to the art that we have and the history that we have, I mean, it's unmatched in other places. Like you're not gonna find it anywhere else. So I would say that is something that we have to our strength, and the fact that there's been so many different people here, like it's a melting pot. Jackson has a lot more diversity than people think. We have a whole Hispanic community. We're a predominantly Black community. And there's still, we're predominantly Black. It's still a large amount of white community here as well. So it's like it's really just this melting pot of good food, good music, and history. So as far as the negatives, man, we just have so much to do. Like there's so many big problems happening right now, even as we speak. There's a lot of divisiveness amongst our city, amongst the people, against the city council, against the mayor. It's like everybody's real divided on, who's doing what and who should be doing what. And we have so many issues. We have a water infrastructure issue. We have crime issues. We have just overall money issues, period. So it's just a lot. It's so much that needs to be done. It's just kind of, it gets overwhelming. But I do believe that we are capitalizing off the tension and the, what's the word? Not necessarily the tension, but the momentum we have now with all the riots all over the country, and it's happening in Jackson as well, and it's getting more people in the city council meetings. It's getting more people to kind of open up and pay attention to what's happening, and people want to be a part of the solution. So I think it's definitely a period of, I was worried a little bit last year, like I knew this moment would come. Like it's gonna come a time where we're either gonna kind of lay down and let the takeover happen, let gentrification continue to take over our city, and be run out of our city once again like we have been done before, or we're going to let this momentum power us up to take back our city and really build on top of what's been left vacant for so long. To see that empty slate as something we can build on, as opposed to something we just leave behind and leave desolate. So, and I'm excited. I feel like people are actually motivated to do that, and a lot of good things happening in Jackson. So I'm excited. I'm glad to be here at this time, because there's a lot of things popping off, and I'm excited to be a part of the story, a part of the history.
So we're like 15 seconds from our 40-minute mark. I'll just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. And if
I got a little notification that said that we were upgraded to unlimited time.
Oh, I didn't see that. I mean, I'm sorry to break the vibe. Okay.
I think you should keep this in the recording of the podcast, Phil.
Okay.
Us talking about Zoom.
Everybody right now can relate to Zoom issues. Speaking of Zoom issues, have y'all had any hackers yet? Or are y'all safe closing the room off and stuff? Okay, good for y'all then.
Yeah.
It gets real ratchet with the people hijacking your stuff.
That has happened to you?
Yes, it happened to me on a Zoom call. I think it was a Juneteenth virtual event, which was an awesome event. But there were so many people in the room, I don't think they actually was able to close it off fast enough.
Right.
And we had some interesting things happen for a little while. Just a complete insurge of penis pictures and racist content, like them calling us the N-word. Like, it was real distressing.
Oh,
yes,
that's awful.
It was funny to me, but it was distressing to a lot of people that were part of the call. I'm goofing. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. But, well, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, maybe we're so small time, that, and they didn't
Plus
give
our
the
link
energy.
isn't really, like, out there.
Yeah.
In any kind of sort of public place. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
let's keep our conversation going.
Yeah, let's do that. You're very vulnerable in this piece, and after I typed that, I said how what is it? Because I mean, I'll just say this quickly before I let you answer. Like, me and Adam have talked about this on this podcast. Like, even though we want this to be a conversation, we talk differently because we know we're recording so that we can release this. But I feel like
because you know that if we talk the way we normally do, it would not be appropriate for public consumption.
No, it would not. It would be very bad. And we don't. I mean, we said too much already. I don't even know what people are thinking about what the things we talk about.
I know what I was. I'm trying to get that podcast X-rated. Let's get the be a special subscribe to get that version. Everybody can't get that. Just tax a little bit extra for that podcast.
Oh, okay. We have to charge them for that. Okay.
I like that. Yes. The bonus content is behind the paywall this week.
Yes. Oh, man. Okay. But anyway, back to the serious question. So, Adrian, what was that? I mean, is it not even a thought for you? Like, what was that?
Man, what are you saying? Is it not a thought? Oh my God, it is. like I said, I mean, even while writing this piece, I mean, of course, I could have went deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Mm-hmm.
already over 2,000 words. You know, I only used a few anecdotes of examples of how Black men have blessed me in my life. I only used a few, and I wouldn't even say that they were probably the best few, to be honest. But I just had to cut it off. You know, I couldn't just go too deep. I couldn't go too long, and I cried while I teared up at writing some parts of this. Because as I'm writing, my mind is going down those avenues of how it happened and going into those deeper feelings, the things that I'm not talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something I definitely have to think about while writing, right? Because I can't get too deep. I can't say too much. Not for this one piece now, because this may be a series. It might turn into something I might be able to go deeper on the next piece or give a different perspective somewhere else. But so I had to be careful about how far, But I would say while writing it, I feel like a good first draft, you kind of just write what comes and then you edit. So I didn't really have to edit too much. It's some things I did, certain things I put in there that I feel like were too much that I took out. And certain details that I took out that I feel like maybe were unnecessary or maybe too much. But I mean, I feel like Erykah Badu said this, and I say this every time I submit a piece. I have to tell myself, like, keep in mind I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yes.
Like, I have to get myself ready, like, getting this job. Like, shout out to Shayma Bayram, who was the journalist here from New York that worked for Jackson Press. I love her, and she inspired me so much. She is so dope. She's in Ohio now. She worked with us for a little while. But I had to call her, like, one of my first times submitting my very first piece, my love letter to Jackson, to my editor. I was a wreck. I'm like, man, like, how do you handle as an artist or as a writer sending your stuff over, knowing the editor's gonna chop it up? Like, ain't no telling what it's gonna be when you get it back. She was like, Asia, like, this is something we all deal with. You just have to, like, deal with it positively and just understand that you're writing for this is a person that has experience in editing. They're gonna edit it the way this should be edited and just not take it personal. And so every time I write something, it's definitely on my mind. And this piece, I wrote it a week before it was actually published. And so CJ, couldn't get around to it right away. And so I'm like, I had to leave it pending. Like, I couldn't just publish it on the site. I had to wait. And so I'm like looking at every day. I'm like, man, he needs to publish this before I change it. Cause like they're waiting for that. Like, the more I kept reading it, the more naked I felt. I was like, oh, why'd you write this? Oh God, no, take it back. But I didn't change it. I only edited, and he published it. But yeah, I will also say the vulnerability. So that's during writing. But after it, I don't think I really realized how vulnerable I really was until after I seen it and people started reading it. It's like, man, it was real personal. Like, I talked about my love life and, like, I put my feelings out there, and it was nerve-wracking, to say the least. I really wasn't expecting to feel as open as I felt afterward. Like I said, I feel like this week my heart is just now starting to kind of close up, and I wrote it July 4th, and so it's kind of taken me a few weeks to, like, kind of close my heart back up because I feel so exposed after it. So it's definitely something that it's hard, I feel like, every time. But as an artist and as a person that's trying to be used as a vessel of God and trying to be used, everything he's given me is not mine, right? So I just can't keep it to myself. I have to, not be afraid. And I can be afraid, but be brave, be courageous, and just let it out because it's not mine to begin with. So I have to just keep that in mind. Tell myself, don't snap out. Somebody don't like it, it's okay. Just because you're an artist, just because you made it, that you feel this way, just give it away. Just give it away.
Oh,
but yes,
I love that.
My anxiety was through the roof. It was. I can imagine, like, being famous. Like, oh my God.
Asia, you'd better get accustomed to feeling famous.
Yes,
right?
It's gonna happen.
Yes. And I'm gonna ride your coattail, Asia. I'm gonna be right there. Right there behind you.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
But I mean, the idea of that. I should say, just a peeping a little more into our friendship. When Facebook was a new thing, like around 2007, 2006, when we started going to college, and Adam, you were probably towards the end or middle.
Yep. I got Facebook my senior year of college.
Right.
I'm 35 now. Yeah.
You old
We're all
butt.
I'm
millennials.
so old. Yes. I'm always the oldest person in the room.
That is, well,
So
as a
last year being a
teacher,
young
yeah.
adult though.
What'd you say, Asia?
So this is Adam's last year being considered a young adult. 35. Shit.
That's when it
Yep.
stops at 36. What am I at 36? Middle aged?
Middle age.
Oh,
No, you have to be 40 before you're middle
You're
aged.
just an adult. You won't be a young adult. You're just being an adult.
okay.
All
For
right,
6
yeah, okay.
For 4 years,
I'll be
you
an
just be
adult,
an
but not a middle-aged adult. Between 36 and 39, you're just sort of in this amorphous area.
Okay, right.
All right.
Right, because 50 is middle age, so you got 36 to 49. Yeah, 49, not 39.
49. Okay,
You
yeah.
think okay? So you think once you reach 50, that's old age?
No, that's middle age. Middle age is 50, right?
Oh, middle age is 50. Okay, so
I don't know.
36 to 49 is what?
It's adult.
Just
You're just an adult.
just adult, no adjective.
You're not a young adult. You're an adult now. You're a full grown man, all the way. No little, no
In
young.
your prime.
No
your
old, no young. I love it. All right. In a few months, I won't be young, but at least I won't be old.
Yes.
That's true. You're still a young man.
Yeah. Just,
We need to
But-
focus.
it's okay. This is a conversation, right? I mean, I was going off topic a little bit, but I want to say two things. Then we need to get to your friend, because Adam has a friend. But I want to say this really quick. Asia would text me, and Asia would say, "Phil, you need to go reread your Facebook status."
I did.
You did it all the time. You would do it all the time. You would do it, and I mean, but that's how much of a friend you were. Like, you didn't just let me look stupid on Facebook because I, didn't spell a word right, or yeah. I mean, but also Asia would read my the papers that I did do. Asia would proof those for me. And so like I'm saying, you have always been a writer. Like, I know I'll just be honest. I send stuff to Adam. I send Wendy. My wife is really good on the writing thing. And so so you were probably one of the first people, like, though, outside of my family that, and that was another testament of your friendship to me. But
At all, but I know I did that. That sounds like something I would do.
No, yeah, you definitely text me. You would see me back. You would read the status and be like,
Philip, what are you
what's
saying?
going on? Yeah, what are you trying to say? I needed that. It was helpful. It has been helpful. I'm just starting to kind of come over that anxiety, get over that anxiety for writing. But so thank you for that. But you have a friend there, and we mentioned your dog, but your dog's name is Chloe. Is Chloe around?
She was. Did you see her? She's been all through the
yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, it's reason for our listeners to check out the YouTube video of this, if for no other reason than to see Chloe.
Yeah. Adam, where's B? And Adam has a dog.
B, come here, girl. Come. She's sort of looking at me like, why do you ask me to get off the floor? Come here. Come. B, oh, okay, here she goes. She's moseying on over.
Okay, she's taking the time.
Come here. This is so interesting. This part of the podcast is really interesting in the audio only version.
Yes, it will
call
be.
After our dog.
It will be. There's B, and she doesn't have her.
Oh, is she a pig? Oh my gosh.
Yes, she is a pet. Isn't she gorgeous?
She's so pretty.
Yes.
What's her name?
You're
B.
such a pretty girl.
B?
Yes, B.
Like B-E-A?
Like a honeybee.
B. Oh my gosh, she's
Yes.
beautiful. Hey B. Oh, I want a blue pit so bad. Or a chocolate one. I've always just, Chloe, I love you, but so,
You're not the dog I want. I love you, but you're not the dog I want.
You're my dream dog. I love you. Don't think you're sick.
Well, Asia, we end every podcast with 2 recurring segments. Would you be game for playing along with our final two segments?
Sure, why not? Let's go.
All right, awesome. Well, the first is Current Events Corner, where we all just very briefly talk about something that has happened in the news in the past week that we can't stop thinking about. So,
So,
Phil, what's your current event?
Okay, so I'm gonna share two really quick. So first, like we've been losing a lot of people due to coronavirus. And we lost John Lewis
Yeah.
this week, and that has been kind of just realizing the impact that people have is amazing. Asia, you referenced Simone, Nina Simone in your writing, and so just the people that we have, and then the people that the heritage that we have in America and as African Americans. Um, I don't know. I Adam? Do you hear me?
I can hear you, Phil.
Okay. I don't know. Asia says she can't hear me.
and I can hear you. It's just you got real low.
Oh, you got really okay. I didn't change anything, but I'll say this really quickly so we so we get to everyone else. Me and Wendy are supposed to be traveling, and so this is our first time.
Where are you
Yeah.
going?
I'm going. I'm gonna be going to Alabama. I'm gonna be going home.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be traveling, and so that it's kind of a big deal, especially right now. So yeah. I'll tell you about it whenever we get back. So next, I guess who wants to go next?
Is that your current event?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my
I think the
current
guest should
events.
go last.
You want to
That's
go
true.
last? All
I
right.
guess-
Well, I'll go next. And Phil, thank you for making sure that we mentioned John Lewis. I think really tragic passing. Last speaker during MLK's March on Washington who was still alive. So definitely something that worth mentioning in
Yeah.
this episode, especially.
Right. Yeah.
So I think I too am. Someone's here. You can hear B. She's getting real excited. I am. The coronavirus pandemic is still pretty. It's at the forefront of my mind, and I just this headline. I subscribe to the Washington Post, and so I have their app installed on my phone, and I still have the push alerts for breaking news enabled, and I think that I might just need to turn those off in order for the news not to ruin my day. I'm just
Yeah.
going to read this headline as it was pushed to me by the Washington Post, and then I'm going to be done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Here's the
Okay.
headline. Trump administration pushing to block new money for testing, tracing, and CDC in upcoming coronavirus relief bill. Okay, I'm done.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's an explanation needed for that. Woo!
All right, Asia, how about you?
Just eel. I don't say. I will do my Trump fingers and just say eel to the federal leadership and even a lot of our state leadership. Eel. I am disgusted.
I think that is. Asia, that's the word I've been looking for.
And that's all I can say. When I see the headlines, I'm disgusted. That's all I have left. I don't have anything else. I'm just disgusted. So anyway,
It's embarrassing, really,
it's
isn't it?
embarrassing.
It's so. I mean, how can the rest of the world have gotten this under control? Like, it's just.
Crazy.
Ugh. Okay, wait. I can't talk about it. I'm sorry, you all. I can't talk about it.
It makes me so upset. It makes me so upset. Like that's why I just have to some things you just gotta just scroll on. Just do it for yourself. Do it for mental health. Okay,
Yes.
I love to read, especially the next person. I pretty much catch every new article. I got I'm subscribed to all the news stations or whatever. All my own personal podcasts. It's constant information, but sometimes you just gotta cut
Keep
that
on
off.
going.
Just
Leave it alone.
put on your mask and turn off the news. Yes. All right.
Sounds like a slogan.
Asia, our final segment every week is what did we learn? So that's
Asia
where
didn't tell her. Asia didn't tell her current.
Oh,
event.
I'm so sorry, Asia. I interrupted you.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I feel like maybe my discuss comment could have been enough.
I guess that's what I thought. Yes, Asia, when she thinks about current events, disgusted.
Yeah.
But Asia, what is your real current event?
Let's see. It's been so much drama going on. I want to pick something juicy. See. I will say recently, what's on the forefront of my mind is the whole Nick Cannon situation with him being fired from Viacom and his answer. Ouch! My dog just bit me. Just leave me alone. She wants to go outside.
She wants to play with you. She's trying to get your attention.
Like she knows how to bite me. Like she does it so soft. She just got that little piece of skin.
Oh wow. She's really ready to go.
Cute.
Tell her we're almost done. Tell her we're almost done.
Filthy peasant. That's how she looks at me. Anyway. She does. Like she has a stick on my chest and she like holds her neck all the way up. Like she's real diva. It's ridiculous. Anyway. So I mean, just the whole fiasco. I would say, it's on the forefront of my mind because number one, I have to do a lot of my own research to gather my own deeper understanding. That's like the second confirmation I've had to be become more versed in Jewish history, just across the centuries. Deeper than the Holocaust, and also watching what was it? Takers? Is it Takers on Amazon Prime? I really love that, but it was about Jewish vigilantes, killing Nazis. So that movie, show.
Wow.
And this has really confirmed that it's some books I need to read to get my understanding. But as far as just overall, I just want to leave a message that we just have to do better with, especially in the Black community. We just can't cancel each other. Like we need to have conversations. And I would just say a lot of current events. I have the same thing with the whole Jada and Will thing. It's like we have our own narratives about things, and we don't even have all the details. We just go off on tangents and put all these things and all these words into the atmosphere against these people that we don't know, and it's been annoying for me to see.
Yes.
Just the conversation, the mindset, just this whole thing, just all of the current events that's happening amid coronavirus. Just the overall theme is just people are exposing themselves, exposing their hearts, exposing their minds, and it has been wow. Yes, it's been interesting from every level. I feel like it covers everything. Like this time has really exposed a lot. It makes it both exciting time and a terribly scary time. But I'll stop there with that.
So, Adam, would you like to say what you learned?
I would. Yes.
Go ahead.
What did we learn this week? Well, I mean, very briefly, for the sake of time, and sticking with the theme of this podcast, I loved how when you asked Asia how she got into writing, she talked about those early experiences and how formative her teachers were. Yeah. And so, Asia, thank you for inspiring all of us educators out there with the knowledge that, yes, although we may not see it today, we may not see it tomorrow, we are having an impact on our own students.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Phil? What did you learn?
I think I learned just like the importance of Asia. You were talking about how, just trying to dig in. I commented on that earlier, but I think that was really impactful. Like, what are the skills you have? What is that thing you maybe you were doing but you stopped doing, and that can provide room for you. I think that's really good.
Mm-hmm. And Asia, did you learn anything from us? And it's
From
okay if the answer is no. Y'all didn't say anything worthwhile.
whatever. I learned a few things. I learned well from Adam first. I mean, you just telling me how you were able to kind of just get this peek inside of our world, inside of my world, and how you learn from that, and you just wanted to take it in like that. That's something that's a new perspective for me that I didn't have for what my writing can be.
Yes.
And I mean, just this overall interview, the fact that that Philip asked me to be on it, like I didn't think that I would be that something I would write would spark this type of conversation, or spark any conversations. So I learned that, and also I learned some things about myself. Like I asked some questions that I hadn't really had to answer, or that no one's asked me, especially about what my inspirations for writing is. Like I've had to think about all those things, and I know answering those questions make me a better writer. Having this experience with y'all makes me a better writer and makes me more comfortable with the gifts that He's given me. Even with being on camera and being on podcasts and things, I think that's where He's trying to get me to be. So, thank you guys for opening your hearts to me and your minds to me and opening up your platform to me. I am taken aback. I am, just completely humbled by all of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Asia. And,
Yes.
Asia, you talk about the conversations that your writing has sparked. I'm just going to say again to our listeners, go check out An Ode to Black Men by Azia Wiggins. It's on Black with No Chaser, and there is a link to it in the show notes.
Yes.
And then after you've had a chance to read it, have a conversation with the people you love, because it will provoke a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, shameless plug, blackwithnochaser.com. They do also sell merchandise. Hit that up. Please follow them on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Black with No Chaser. There's a lot of good information on there. They have a lot of good podcasts, a lot of good content. So check them out. You can follow me on Facebook,
Yes.
Azia Wiggins on Facebook. That's my first and last name. Instagram is Virtuous Beauty 88. And on Twitter, it's Merhaba. That's MRAHABA 88 on Twitter.
Awesome.
So feel free to email me. You can email me at asiawiggins@yahoo.com. If you want to check out anything I've written for Jackson Free Press, you can just Google me or go to Jackson Free Press website. It'll pull up everything I've written. Feel free to email me, man. Any type of questions, concerns, whatever. I'm with it. So hit me up.
Awesome. Asia, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, man.
Thank
This
you.
was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We had a good time, too.
We
You
did.
did. Yeah.
All right. Well, then, dear listeners, I will say bye for now.
Adios.
Peace.